On Network Africa, the African continent marks 6 months since COVID-19 was first detected in Egypt. Three people killed in Côte d'Ivoire's demonstrations against President Alassane Ouattara's third-term bid. Thus, volunteers continue the oil cleanup in Mauritius. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Layo Adegoke. Today marks 6 months since Africa confirmed its first COVID-19 case in Egypt. While the virus has raced through many other regions of the World Health Organization says the pandemic's evolution on the continent has been different. Many countries are experiencing a gradual rise in cases, and it is difficult to discern a specific peak, and also transmission patterns differ between countries. Meanwhile, the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 7 African countries will begin administering coronavirus antibody tests next week. The testing is part of an effort to understand how widespread the infection is on the continent. Head of the Africa CDC, John Kegasong, says Liberia, Sierra Leone, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Cameroon, Nigeria, Morocco are the first set of countries that committed to it. Now, so far, the continent has conducted 9.4 million coronavirus tests, closing in on the 10 million target set in collaboration with member states. Now, South Africa is the hardest hit country on the continent, accounting for more than half of the total number of cases on the continent. The country has the highest recorded number of total cases and reported deaths in Africa, and it's the 5th highest number of cases in the world. Reported deaths appear lower compared with other countries in the world that have been badly hit by the coronavirus, but research from the South African Medical Research Council indicates the number of people who have died from the virus could be much higher than officially reported. However, there are some signs that the case numbers in the country could be stabilizing, and the WHO says the hospitalization rate is also slowing down. Well, joining us now is our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, to speak more on the situation in the country. Hello, Betty.
Hello, Laia.
Well, South Africa recorded its first COVID-19 case on the 5th of March. 5 months after now, it has the highest number on the continent. And not just that, it is also among the top 5 globally. Just give us an overview, if you will, on how the nation has handled this, with the people and also the government and even the health workers at the forefront of this pandemic.
All right, thank you, Laia. We've come a long way from the 5th of March, where the first recorded case, people who came back from holiday in Europe, were tested positive. All those people have recovered, but we have come a long way. 3.3 million tests later, the country currently stands at 572,865 confirmed cases, although the recovery figures is quite close to that at 437,000 recovered cases. So we have a 78% recovery. Death toll has risen to, as at last night, over 11,270. That's excluding the excess deaths that the Medical Research Council was talking about. It could be more because many people have not bothered to be hospitalized or come out to test. So nobody really knows what the actual figures are. But the country has done a lot of things, apart from the hard lockdown from the 26th of March at midnight for level 5 lockdown, which was quite strict and has now gradually come down to level 3. There are also restrictions, sale of alcohol, smoking of cigarette, although they're fighting that. They recorded good things and bad. We've seen a 2-day-old preterm baby die of COVID complications. We've also seen, as recently as this week, a 107-year-old woman in the Free State province who recovered. She beat the virus. She beat COVID, and we've seen COVID corruption in the issue of procurement corruption, the procurement process of PPEs. We've seen health workers protest, over inadequacy in the provision of these things. Generally, we got some figures from the health department yesterday saying that overall about 27,360 health workers were affected. Quite a number of them, have died in the process. And we've seen the epicenter move from Gauteng to the Western Cape and back to Gauteng. Now Gauteng, all these other places are sort of stabilizing, the numbers are reducing, and all eyes are on the KwaZulu-Natal province, seeing it as the next epicenter, although generally the figures are coming down. We've also seen problems with the issue of lifting of the ban on alcohol and the problem that caused. Numbers started going up, pressure on facilities, and then the government had to put back the ban on the sale of alcohol. Large gatherings are still prohibited. For churches, it's not more than 50 people should be in the church. But a problem of the issue of funeral processes. Here, it's a very important rite of passage for the people in this country. A lot of people want to say goodbye physically to you, and that has brought a lot of problems, especially in places like the Eastern Cape, where people we've had problems like people gathering as many as over 1,000, where you're told not more than 50 people. But the government is trying to take it in its stride. They're celebrating the little successes. We also have seen them enrolling for the vaccine trials in the country. There's also from the South African blood services. They're talking about convalescent plasma treatment, which they're also trying. But the president now is looking at how to help rebuild the economy. They're talking about the relevant bodies looking into various areas, so that even while we're celebrating some of the gains, we can't stay back and feel everything is all good. We still have to be careful. We still have to adhere to these guidelines of social distancing, wearing a mask, washing your hands and the likes. But we still have to look at the aspect of the economy. So they've come a long way, and they're taking it in their stride. We're expecting the president to speak today or tomorrow on when next probably they're going to reduce the restrictions to level 2. No one knows. The president is yet to say anything.
All right, then, Betty Dibia, there's a whole lot of things to look at. We do hope that the positive things, outweigh the negatives. Thank you, Betty Dibia, our South Africa Bureau Chief, joining us there from Johannesburg.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll move now to Gambia, where up to 100 people are to be tested for coronavirus each week in the capital, Banjul. And according to the mayor of the capital, Rone Lowe, the tests will be free of charge in the city that has a population of more than 400,000 people. The Gambia's weak healthcare system has struggled to cope with the pandemic. President Adama Barrow last week had to declare a state of emergency, shutting border crossings and airspace. He also imposed a nationwide nighttime curfew for 21 days that is expected to end on the 26th of August. Now, the country has recorded more than 1,500 cases, according to a tally by Johns Hopkins University, and the capital is thought to be at risk of recording higher numbers. Well, away from COVID-19, police authorities say at least 3 people have died during protests in Côte d'Ivoire as small groups burned makeshift roadblocks in protests against President Alassane Ouattara's decision to stand for a 3rd term. The West African nation has seen a number of scattered protests since President Ouattara announced last week that he would run in the October 31st election, and the opposition is accusing him of violating the term limits. Protesters in the southeastern town of Onua set fire to a police station after a young man died during a protest there on Thursday. In Abidjan, the capital, scattered groups of demonstrators built barricades and burnt tires in response to a call from the opposition and civil society groups. Well, tensions are still high in Ghana after a number of shops owned by Nigerians in the capital, Accra, were locked up following an order by the Ghanaian Ministry of Trade and Industry. These shops are among a total of 46 foreign-owned retail shops which the ministry says has been trading illegally. Ghanaian law bars foreigners from engaging in retail business, and the authorities have come under pressure to enforce it. Now, the Nigerian community in Accra says a notice was placed in front of the shops saying they had been locked by a team of public regulatory institutions for non-compliance with the business operating requirements. Before now, traders have complained about harassment from authorities over tax paid in order to keep their shops open. However, they say their shops are still being shut despite the taxes they've paid. The Ghanaian Presidential Committee on Retail Trade, which operates under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, began closing down foreign-owned shops, it says, that are operating businesses without documents. The videos you see now showing on your screen were sent in by an eyewitness at the scene in Accra today.
They are closing my shop. Don't touch my phone, it's my right. You don't have any, it's my right, don't touch my phone. They are closing my shop. I have been paying tax since 2007. I'm doing everything they can see. It is wrong. And this is abnormal. What they are doing, African life matter. Nigeria life matters here. In Ghana, why are you people doing this? It is my right.
Well, joining us now to discuss more on this is Mr. Kizito Obiora. He's the First National Union of Traders Association Vice President for Ghana, Newtank. Thank you, Mr. Kizito, for joining us on Network Africa. Please help us understand what happened with the authorities and owners of the shops.
Yeah, Lawyer, thank you very much. First of all, we got information from Ministry of Trade about 2 weeks ago that they are coming to check our business premises through the agitation of GUTA members, Ghana Union of Trade Association members, that we are defaulting their law, whatever, I don't know. So along the line, they started on Monday, actually. Monday being 10th of this August. So they were moving peacefully at the Abasokai market. Abasokai is a spare parts, spare parts trade sector. They were moving peacefully there. Though they have been pasting this thing. They have been pasting some notice in every Nigerian shop, making it clear to them that they are not qualified to be there. But they didn't lock any shop. So we are just looking at them. Surprisingly, yesterday, they come to Seko. And when they come, they started locking all the Nigerian shops. There are some talking to that they have locked more than 50 Nigerian shops at Seko, a place called Tiptolen at Seko, where the phone accessories people are. So that is where we are now. That's all I can tell you.
Well, all right, Mr. Kizito, we would have to come back to you just after the break. So let's go on a break now. You're watching Network Africa on Channels Television. Organization of the United Nations continuing its fight with the ongoing infestations of desert locusts in East Africa. Please stay with us. for staying with us. Before we went on break, we were speaking to Mr. Kizito Obiora. He's the National Vice President of the Nigerian Union of Traders Association in Ghana. Mr. Obiora, thank you so much for still staying with us. Now, the Ghanaian authorities are accusing Nutang of breaking the law by dealing in retail trade. What is your response to this?
The truth of the matter is, the accusation is baseless. Let me put it in this way. If Ghana government don't want to win Nigerians in Ghana, let them be very open to us and made it very clear to us. Not all this hide and seek game. We are tired of that, honestly speaking. I could remember 2012, Madam Hanatete, when that time she was the trade minister. They make this type of argument. They serve us a notice that they don't want us in their market. This blah 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 blah, and we petitioned ECOWAS Parliament. ECOWAS Parliament was here in Ghana, and when they meet to them, they totally deny. They even accuse us that we are raising false alarm, that the GIPC law, which forbid every foreigner to deal in retail business in Ghana, or you must come with equity of $1 million, and a lot of things involved. They made it very clear to these people that the GIPC law did not target it to we ECOWAS. That is for other national. So accusing us of dealing in retail trade, let them come out open and tell us that they don't want us to engage in retail trade, as it is stated on the listing at their GIPC law. Then we will take it like that. But telling us this thing is saying that we are violating their law as if we are criminals. That is what we will not accept. We pay our taxes. We have our resident permit. We register our business. We know how much we spend annually to pay government taxes. Nigerians who are doing a very huge business in Nigeria cannot pay such amount. Some of us, some petty traders, you see our small shops. But if I tell you how much we pay in a year, you will never believe that. That is of the matter.
Mr. Kizito, all right. I understand what you're saying, but let's look forward now. Now that your shops are under lock and key, what steps are being taken to, get your businesses back on track? And has the Nigerian government responded to what is going on, and what efforts are they making?
Yeah, actually, we are on it. Normally, it's always like this. It didn't start today. This thing started since 2007, up to date, and we are still on it. So we have been engaging our government. As I'm talking to you now, our foreign affairs minister, this minister is fully aware of whatever is going here. We have communicated to him. Our embassy, we are with them. Yesterday we are we are on a meeting with them. Today we schedule to meet again today. Monday we will still meet. So we are on it. So everybody, our government is doing whatever they can do. So we are just pleading to the government to fasten things, because some of our shops was locked last year December. 8 good months, all these shops are locked, doing nothing. Immediately, it's the same shop that are locked 8 months ago. After 8 months, they opened the shop. The shop did not operate up to 2 weeks. They come and lock it again. How are those people going to survive? How are they going to survive? So that is our problem. So we are pleading to our government. I know that they have been doing a lot for us, but we want them to do more. If there is anything they can do to solve this problem with Ghanaian authority once and for all, let them do it. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Kizito Obiora, the National Vice President of the Nigerian Union of Traders Association in Ghana, speaking to us there from Kumasi. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Now, cleanup efforts are still underway in Mauritius as local volunteers laid out booms made from human hair as well as husk from sugarcane factories to soak up as much of the oil spill as possible. Satellite images show The 1,000 tons of spilled oil spreading northward along the coastline from the spill site in the turquoise waters of Blue Bay Marine Park. Scientists are saying the damage could impact Mauritius and its tourism-dependent economy for decades to come. The spill came from the Japanese-owned MV Wakashio, which rammed into a reef in the marine park on the 25th of July and now lies with a broken back partially submerged, its bow pointing upwards. It's still unclear why the ship was sailing so close to the coast. However, about a week later, oil began gushing from the damaged vessel. The flow has since been stopped, authorities say, after they pumped the remaining oil from the ship. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, is fighting the ongoing infestations of desert locusts in East Africa, where the locust situation remains a threat to people's livelihood and food security. Significant progress has been made in a number of countries, especially in Kenya, where just a few of the 29 counties that were infested in February 2020 have desert locusts today.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations is warning of the threat of a possible reinfestation of locust towards the end of the year, calling for careful and continued surveillance. There's still a need to build up monitoring and response capacity across the region to be ready if an upsurge occurs.
We continue to monitor because locusts can go into places that cannot be easily reached and then emerge from there. So we will continue to strengthen our surveillance capacity, our control efforts, and our livelihood recovery efforts. So it's a process. So we can't specify a specific date that by this date they will go, but we can simply say by this date we have contained to a large extent what could have been a disaster.
From the beginning of January up till early August 2020, over 600,000 hectares have been controlled across the East African region. FAO estimates that so far over 500 billion locusts have been killed in the entire region and so were prevented from damaging crops and rangelands. The Food and Agriculture Organization has trained hundreds of National Youth Service volunteers as part of its action plan to boost the government's surveillance and control the worst desert locust invasion the country has seen in 70 years.
Okay, I will suspect they're not around here.
The Desert Locust Control Operation in Turkana is a tandem operation between people on the ground and people in the air, combining surveillance, verification and control.
We wanted to control them as fast as possible before they reach Insta 5 and young adults, who will start again maybe copulating and laying more eggs. So we need to control it very fast.
Hey!
From June to December, many more people in the region could be severely food insecure due to the desert locust alone. But now with COVID-19 as an additional factor and the pre-existing caseload of people already food insecure prior to the upsurge, the situation in the region is quite dramatic.
And that's where we end Network Africa for today and the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Adegoke. Have a lovely weekend.